I love my mom. I really do. She did the best she could, but her best still hurt me. One of the ways she unknowingly caused harm was through her cleaning OCD. Growing up, I had more chores than any child should. My mom's cleaning habits were excessive, and she roped my sister and me into them. If things weren't done just perfectly, she would get angry. And children just want to make their parents happy. They really do. And I quickly learned that cleaning made mom happy. But what that then meant for my little brain was that cleaning was necessary to ensure survival. But that's not how it should be. A child should not have to work to feel safe with their caregiver. The caregiver should just be a safe space. And so instead I was terrified of her. I only felt safe when the house was not only perfectly clean, but perfectly the way that she needed it to be. The towels all have to have the rounded edge facing outwards. The couch pillows have to be on an angle. There can't be even a single hair present on any surface. My sister was quite a bit older than me, and so better at cleaning. I remember the intense jealousy as my mom would praise my sister for how well she cleaned the bathroom. I wanted that praise, and so I worked hard to get it, but I never did. Actually, to this day, my mom doesn't think very much about my cleaning abilities, which is funny because if you ask any person that I've ever lived with, they will tell you that I'm excessive. I cleaned to get my mom's attention, but because of her high standards, I never got praise. And so cleaning just became a way for me to avoid her rage. After school, I only had a couple of hours to clean the house before she got home from work. I remember feeling terrified, like just dreading the sound of the garage door opening. I really hate that sound. This is kind of getting hard to talk about. Yeah, that was not a nice sound. Just like not knowing how she was gonna come through the door. You know, like, is she gonna be angry or is she gonna be happy? And hoping that I had done enough and that it was to her liking. God forbid she came home and I hadn't done any chores. Even if I had homework, it didn't matter. Sometimes to be safe, I would go overboard, you know, just to cover my bases. I would do things like dust every picture frame or clean the baseboards. I swear she didn't notice when things were done, only when they were not done. It wasn't until I got older and lived with others that I realized this wasn't normal, that my cleaning was excessive. But my neurons firmly believe that cleaning is necessary for survival, and it is really hard to convince them otherwise. But I'm working on it. When I go into the living room and the couch cushions aren't in perfect order, I get a little poke of panic. Just a little, but that's for one thing. Because these pokes, they come at me from all sides, constantly. The hairs on the bathroom vanity, the soap stains forming on the tub, something sticky on the floor, the fingerprints on the fridge. And so I clean to stop the pokes. But they never stop. It is literally impossible to get the house to a state where there are 0 pokes. I think I'd have to clean for 8 hours a day and do that every single day. I don't clean for 8 hours a day, but I clean a lot. One time I was so stressed that I cleaned for 4 days straight. And I did that because no amount of cleaning is ever enough. I'm learning that giving into the pokes is just a temporary solution. It relieves stress in that moment, but the cushions will shift again, the fingerprints will be back in a few minutes, and I can't ask my husband to keep up these same standards that were created by my mother. That's not fair to him. The crazy thing is I can't even get him to help me with the chores, because if someone else is doing chores, that causes the pokes too. Because then I'm stressed like, oh no, now she has to clean because I didn't do a good enough job. And I don't want another person to do it because I don't want them to be mad at me. Just please don't be mad at me. This is hard. This is kind of hard to talk about. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to have bloopers because this is not really funny. And I'm laughing. I don't know if I'm going to have bloopers today because mostly it's just me stressed talking about this. And my husband does reassure me. He'll say, I'm not mad at you when I'm doing chores. I like helping. But even though he says that, it doesn't make the pokes go away, because neurons are stronger than words. And I'm tired. I'm tired of spending hours cleaning just to relieve stress. I'm tired of hiding in bed for days when the stress builds up and becomes too much. And I'm tired of not knowing what I could be capable of, or who I would be if I wasn't wasting all this time on cleaning. If you're new here, my other videos talk about how I am currently working to treat and hopefully cure my c-ptsd. Things like meditation, mindfulness, and somatic therapies are all helping to create new pathways in my mind that I can take instead of the old ones that were formed in childhood. But the old ones are still there, and they're buried deep, and they're easier for my brain to take because they're what I'm used to. Carving the new pathways is hard, but I believe that things are starting to change for me. I can feel the new pathways, the ones that I'm making, and I can also feel the old ones, the ones that my mother made. And these therapies and techniques are helping me to take back control of my own brain, because my mother has been in control for far too long. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I made this channel because I have a big goal of helping as many people as possible to feel less alone. If you can get behind this goal, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. Any one of those good things helps tell the algorithm gods that this content is worth spreading. So your participation is greatly appreciated. And if you're a repeat viewer, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.